thought our team grew up from Friday to tonight. Certainly one game doesn't a season make, but we were much better tonight in all phases. You know, we're still not perfect. It's November 14th, so we have a lot of room for growth. But some of the things that we really emphasized, taking care of the ball, playing a little bit longer into the shot clock, defensive intensity, crowding the floor a little bit more than we did against Lehigh. I thought we took a step forward, and we're going to have to continue to. I thought some of our younger players and newcomers, guys like Malcolm Bernard, Rasheed Gaston, certainly the two freshmen, Tyreek and Quentin, had their best nights in the Xavier uniform, albeit really, really early in the year. But even with Musketeer Madness and even our scrimmage against Georgia and Ferris State, all those competitive nights, this was by far, to me, the best from our newcomers, which was a really, really good sign. And so we'll take it. We'll move forward. We have a flight to Orlando tomorrow, and we have to prepare for a much better Missouri team for Thursday.
With Quentin specifically, do you think that he took your words to heart about you can't play scared, we want you to play like we recruited you?
I hope so. I'm sure I'm not the only person. Hopefully I'm the most important person, but I'm sure I'm not the only person echoing that message. Whether it's Coach Steele, Coach Murray, Coach Mike, his dad, friends, family, teammates. Everybody's trying to, get him to make that transition. And people don't necessarily understand how difficult it is from high school to college. And, you see, the one and dones, and that's just that's a freak of nature. There's some big time players, but it's still an adjustment. I mean, look at the UK Canisius game. I mean, it's, when you play juniors and seniors and guys that are 22 years old and 23 years old and been in the college weight room and have played for the same coach for 2 or 3 years, it's a hard adjustment. And again, I thought those two, Tyreek and Quentin, made huge jumps and huge strides tonight. Quentin, especially with his aggressiveness and not playing tentative.
Does Tyreek give you something that you don't otherwise have when he's on the floor in terms of his energy and toughness and just activity?
Well, I don't know about his toughness. I think we have some other tough guys, but he has great timing. He has a college-level physique already, and he can affect things around the basket. I mean, some of his blocks where he comes out of nowhere, you would think he's 6'10", 6'11". He has a unique timing, and his skill set is just continuing to get better. I told Coach Mike during our shoot-around, I said, man, Tyreek's really coming along with his right hand, with his left hand. I mean, when he first got here, he was not very confident in what he's doing. He still has a ways to go, but tonight, gives a little shimmy shake and goes right shoulder, left hand hook. He's doing some impressive things, and I'm just so thankful that he's eligible. He really elevates our team around the basket. And then to go 2 charges, I mean, wow, for a freshman. I mean, number one, the ability to see the play developing so he can slide over outside the arc and take the charge, and then the toughness to do it. Some of our other bigs and perimeter guys have to start taking some notes from a freshman when it comes to that, because outside of Tyreek, I don't see us blocking shots around the basket. We're not a huge team. Last year with James and Jalen, it was a little different story. So we need to protect the rim any way we can, and certainly you protect it when you take charges.
In terms of his defense, you mentioned the blocked shots and the 2 charges, so we see those as highlight plays, but from your perspective, does he know where he's supposed to be on the defensive end? Is he in the right spot?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting schooled. He's learning. Is he there 100% of the time? No, but I could probably say the same thing about every player on our team, but he's recognizing things. One of the things that Tyreek struggled with early on was, he would defend a ball screen like we asked him to, but he didn't necessarily call it out. And just because you're doing your job, the guard who's getting screened doesn't know the screen's coming. So little things like that, just maintaining your focus, your concentration throughout a college possession is much different than high school. And as I said before, he's really coming along.
I know the competition level was different in terms of their post players compared to Lehigh and Kempton, but was tonight a confidence booster for all 3 of your big men a little bit?
I think so. It was great to see Rasheed play the way he did. I thought he played really aggressive. He rebounded the ball. He ripped a couple out of traffic. He scored around the basket, left hand, right hand. And so those guys aren't Wilt Chamberlain by any means, but we need them to score points. We need them to draw fouls. And I know Sean can do it. He didn't have his best night offensively, but those other two, they took a big step forward tonight for us.
It seems like at the start of every season, there are games when there's a lot of fouls, and those kind of start to taper out as the season goes on. Do you think that was the case tonight, or do you think that it was just a game with a lot of fouls?
Well, I thought we kept them off the free throw line for the most part. You know, you worry when you're a coach that when there's a lot of whistles on one end, that it just sort of will be reciprocated at the other. I thought, and again, I can't say every call was the right call, but I thought Buffalo was fouling, and I didn't think they adjusted. And I thought our guys, to their credit, kept Buffalo out of the bonus for a lot longer tonight than Lehigh. And so I only worry about Xavier and making the adjustment.
Looks to me like Buffalo scored only 5 2-point field goals. Does that meet or exceed your goal?
You know, we don't necessarily have a goal, Andy, on how many field goals. You know, we want to keep the possession down. You know, as far as Buffalo, coming into the game, we felt like was a head down, drive it into the lane type team that would either draw fouls or drive and kick. And we really wanted to take that away. You know, not to get in all the X's and O's, but they have a lot of scenarios where one offensive player is just sort of clipping another, almost like you'd see in football, where it's not a pick, but it's sort of just a brush. I thought our guys had great attention to detail, didn't give Buffalo any type of opportunity to drive it downhill, and because of that, they really stayed mostly on the perimeter. And, we'll take that. Bengals winning?
No.
Lions +4.
They didn't score on 1st and goal?
Hard to sit on the ball.
Easy. Don't start bashing coaches. Here we go.
Does Tim have the green light to shoot whenever he's on the floor? I mean, he always seems to be a pass-first guy.
Well, if he's open, and Tim knows that. I don't want anybody taking shots if they're closely defended.
Was it nice to see him get his first?
Yeah, it was. I mean, he works just as hard as anybody on our team, and he's done it for 4 years and hasn't said boo. And again, he's a guy that might find himself in there when the game's in the balance. First half, we're a couple fouls, from putting him in. We're an ankle away from putting him in. So I have a lot of confidence in Tim. He really knows our system. He's not the greatest athlete in the world. His brother wasn't either, but he understands positioning and he understands our system. And so, I'm very confident in Tim.
Tyreek took credit for freeing Tim up on that play.
Did he? Yeah, he set a good screen.
That's an accurate analysis.
Tyreek's right. Yep, he set a really good screen and freed him in the offense that we have. And so Tyreek's not afraid of contact, that's for sure.